Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this video, it's not going to be a gaming video or anything like that. It is going to settle an argument that is set in the Percy Jackson fan base. And this video is going to settle it, like I said. We are going to see what is the better adaptation of the Percy Jackson books, or book, because there's only one season of the Percy Jackson show. Cannot speak. However, there are two movies, and don't need to talk about the second one right now. We are only talking about the first movie. Goes along with the first season of the Percy Jackson show. We are going to see which one is the better adaptation, like I said. So, let us get into it. I have a list of 30 events, specifically 30 events, in the book, that happens in the book. Some of the stuff is major things, like the characters' ages, some quest stuff, something that happens in the quest, some things that happen in the quest, certain characters that are in the show or that are in the books that carry over to the movie and the show, or that doesn't carry over to the movies but that are in the show. So let's get into it. I'm super excited. I've been excited to do this for a while. I just finally got done with the list of the 30 items. So let's jump in. First, the first one out of 30 is characters' ages. Characters' ages. That is the first thing that we are going to talk about. In the book, Percy Jackson and Annabeth Chase are 12 years old. That is a major thing that is in the first book. That's like the major thing, because the prophecy starts when the chosen one is, 16? Yeah, 16. And so it is important for them to build up to that. So in the book, characters Percy and Annabeth are 12 years old. Everyone else is their required age. Luke, I believe, is 14, or I think he's 16. So I could be wrong on that. I pay attention and then I lose some stuff. But the major thing is that both Percy and Annabeth are 12 years old in the books. That does happen in the TV show. Percy Jackson and Annabeth Chase are both 12 in the show at the start of the first season. So that is 1 point for the TV show. However, characters in the movie, Percy and Annabeth, are both 16. And that is a big no-no for the prophecy. That's a big no-no for the story, because that's a huge change and that sets everything out of balance. So no point for the movie. Second point, Nancy Bobafett starts trouble with Percy. That does happen in the TV show. However, things are different in the TV show, of course, to move along with the story. And yes, it's kind of rushed, but yes, that does happen. However, it does not happen in the movie. So another point goes to the TV show. No point goes to the movie. Third, where is it? Ooh, yes. The Mrs. Dodds fight, which leads to Percy Jackson getting expelled from school. That is a big one. Because that sets a lot of things in motion. That does happen in the TV show. However, it is a shorter fight, and that's not really a fight, because Percy doesn't know how to fight. So it does happen, and he does get expelled in the TV show. So another point goes to the TV show. However, in the movie, Percy Jackson is actually in high school. He is 16. They go on a field trip. Why are they going on a field trip in high school? That's weird. Uh, Although I think that has happened at some high schools. Doesn't matter. And Percy does not get expelled. So that is not a point for the movie. So far, the movie has no points. Movie is highly inconsistent with the book right now. We'll keep going. See if the movie can redeem itself. If it can't, then oh well. So, Percy Jackson TV show has 3 points. 3 points. Movie doesn't have any points. TV show has 3. Number 4. Percy notices the Fates, or actually, I believe it's Grover who notices the Fates. Percy notices them too, but Grover says something. In the show, it does happen later on than usual, so I'll give a point to the show for that. However, it isn't Percy Jackson who notices. It's not Percy who notices them. It's actually Annabeth, and so that's weird. I didn't know how I wanted to. I'm putting a point because the Fates are in the show. Yes, it's different in the book. It's different from what the book has, but the Fates are in the show. The Fates are an important thing in the books. So the fact that they're in the show, that gets a point. Number 5, Smelly Gabe. Honestly, Smelly Gabe does not make an appearance in, well, okay, Gabe Ugliano is in the show, but he doesn't give off that vibe of being like how he is portrayed in the book. So the show, for once, is not getting a point. So the show does have 4 points, but will not get a 5th point because Gabe. But the show's not getting a point, but the movie is getting a point. So the movie gets its first point. 6, Trip to Montauk. The trip to Montauk, which actually starts more of the events that happen later in the series, like later in like the next few events. Trip to Montauk does happen in the show. It does happen in the show. So another point for the show. However, in the movie, there's no Montauk. They go right ahead to the camp, and it's weird. The movie is weird. Number 7, the Minotaur attacks. It happens. The Minotaur attacks does happen in the TV show, so TV show does get a point. But the movie also gets a point because the Minotaur attack does happen in the movie. Doesn't matter how it happened, but it happens. It happens. Number 8. So as of right now, the TV show is at 6, and the movie is at 2 points. Yes. Number 7. Okay, number 8. Percy passes out at the camp after killing the Minotaur. Percy does pass out in both the TV show and in the movie. Wait. Maybe. Yes. Yes, TV show, he does pass out after the Minotaur attack in the TV show. Yes. And he also passes out in the movie. So another point does go to the movie. So the movie's at 3 points, and the TV show is at 7. 7 points. 9, Clarice. Characters. Characters are important. So Clarice not being in the movie. Clarice is not in the movie. In the first movie, which is odd, weird, and makes more things weird as the movie goes along. However, in the TV show, Clarice is in the TV show, which is great, and that sets up more things to happen in the season, mostly in the next few events, and yes, that is good. Number 10, Capture the Flag. Capture the Flag does happen in both the movie and TV show. I know I should have added the bathroom scene, which is important, but that leads on to Capture the Flag scene. So I'm going to give the TV show 2 points because both the bathroom scene and how the Capture the Flag scene are both portrayed in the TV show. However, I'm only going to give 1 point to the movie for the Capture the Flag scene. There's no bathroom scene, so TV show does get a point, but TV show gets movie gets 1 point. TV show gets 2 points for that. So we're gonna change this. That's good. Okay. Just that. 11. Percy gets claimed by Poseidon after the Capture the Flag scene. Movie. He doesn't get claimed by Poseidon after the Capture the Flag scene. In fact, Chiron already knew that that Percy was the son of Poseidon, which always confused, like, why? Why? So no. TV show, however, gets claimed. TV show, Percy gets claimed by Poseidon after the Capture the Flag. How he does in the TV show, it's different from the book, but it still does happen. There's a lot of things that happen in the TV show that happened a lot different from how the book interpreted it, how the book played it out. However, if it's around the same thing in the TV show, I am going to count it. That is just going to be how it is. So TV show gets another point. Movie doesn't get another point. So TV show is in the lead by a lot, which is great. Actually, the point I want to make later on. Number 12. Percy gets the quest. Well, Percy gets accepted a quest to go get the lightning bolt from Hades. In the movie, Percy sneaks out of the camp, and Annabeth and Grover follow him. That I never... The movie, to me, was always weird. Not just because of the character ages, but just like the consistency from the books, the movie, from the books to the movies, not consistent. We'll get along with that. We'll get into that more as the list goes on. And yes, this is going to be a long video. I know, I'm sorry, I don't know how to speak. That's just how I am. So, movie doesn't get a point, but the TV show does get a point because he does get a quest. He does get appointed the quest after the Capture the Flag scene, which is very, very important because it will show exactly like what he really wants from this quest. Not just like he doesn't really care about the whole Master Bolt being stolen. He only cares about saving his mom, and when he figures out that yes, his mom is still alive, he goes on the quest to save his mom, which is important. I don't think that was, I mean, yes, that was kind of implied in the show, and yes, that was also implied in the movie. That was heavily implied in the movie, but in the show, that was implied a bit as the story goes on as well, but But anyway, TV show gets a point, movie doesn't get a point on that. Number 13, Annabeth accepts partnership on the quest. Percy doesn't actually choose her. I have to give a point to the movie for doing this because Annabeth tags along with Percy as he's trying to sneak out of the camp. And he's trying to tell her no, but Annabeth doesn't listen. And yes, that happens. That actually happens greatly in the movie. I will give the movie some credit on that. But in the TV show, Percy chooses Annabeth, which, I mean, it's sort of, in my opinion, kind of better in the TV show. But I can't give the TV show a point because it's not really the same as what the book was. I do like the scene more in the TV show. It's actually very, very, or just Disney Plus show. I'll call it a Disney Plus show. But it is very smart on how it is handled in the show. So, another point for the movie, no point for TV show. Even though the Disney Plus show is still in the lead by a lot. Alright. I think that's number 14. Yeah. Go to number 14. On their way to their next destination on the quest, they need to go to the Emporium. Oh no, they don't need to go to the Emporium, but they stop at the Emporium. But before they stop at the Emporium, they get attacked on the bus by the Furies. In the show, it does happen, but instead of just instead of 3 Furies, it's only 1, and it's only Electo / Mrs. Dodds from the beginning of the show. So the show will get a point for that, for doing some consistency there. Instead of getting attacked by 3 Furies, it's only 1, which is, I mean, there's kind of some inconsistency there. But this other 2 Furies don't really do much in the book, I don't think. So the show does get a point there. However, the movie does not get a point there because there is a bus stop scene, but that's so that they can go to the Emporium, because they had to go to the Emporium because that's where the Persephone's Pearl was. But yeah. They had to go to the Emporium, so they did go on a bus, but Electo wasn't there, and Electo / Dodds does not return, so the movie doesn't get a point. However, the show does get a point because there was the return of that Miss Dodds / Electo. Next one, Medusa attacks at Garden Emporium. That happens both in the movie and in the show. So both get a point on that. Yes, how the fight goes, it's different from both the movie and the show. But we're not talking about how things are played out. We're talking about the events that are happening. We're talking about the main points of what actually happens between all 3. And the consistency between the book and, yes. Next, Annabeth's backstory. Annabeth's backstory is actually very, very important because it shows Percy, it actually shows who Annabeth is to Percy. So I believe there is some backstory in the movie. I can't remember. I haven't seen the movie in a while. In a long while. There is some backstory to Annabeth's... There is some backstory to Annabeth's whole story thing. So both movie and show will get a point. I could be wrong. If you guys think I'm wrong, you guys can correct me. If you guys actually make it this far into the video. So both the show and the movie will get a point on that. Next, Percy ships Medusa's head to Olympus after the fight with Medusa. In the movie, that does not happen. So movie will not get a point. However, in the show, it does happen. So the show does get a point. Next, Percy gets advice from a poodle. I mean, that's just something random that I put because it does happen. But it does happen in the book. But it doesn't happen in either the show or the movie. So no point goes to either. Next, Percy fights the Chimera. The movie does not have a Chimera fight. There's no Chimera fight at all in the movie. However, in the TV show, in the Disney Plus original show, they do fight Percy fights the Chimera. And so, show gets a point, and movie does not. Which leads to the next point of Percy falls out of the St. Louis Arch. That does not happen in the movie at all. There's no Chimera fight and there's no St. Louis Arch. There is an arch in the show, and I'm actually on that episode right now in the show, so that's actually perfect. Next point. Percy becomes a known fugitive. That's actually one of the chapters that one of the chapters is actually called I Become a Known Fugitive. Both in the movie and in the show, that does happen. However, how it happens is different. I'm not going to give a point depending on how it happens. It just happens. Next point. Ares offers to help. Movie. There's no Ares. So the next couple of points, Ares is helping. Not helping. Ares is a part of what comes in the next few points that the movie will obviously not get points for. However, the show will get points for the stuff that Ares does do close to what is in the book. So Ares offers to help. In the show, yes, he does. Number 22. Percy and Annabeth go to Waterland to retrieve Ares' shield. Again, in the movie, there's no Ares, so that doesn't happen. However, in the show, yes, there's Ares, and yes, he gives them a quest, a tiny quest to go to Waterland to retrieve his shield. And they go to Waterland. How the scene plays out, though, is different from how the book's events play out. However, there is still a Waterland scene, and it is still as intense, somewhat, in the show. So the show does get a point for that. Number 23, Ares gets the gang a ride to the Lotus Hotel and Casino. In the movie, the gang goes to the Lotus Hotel and Casino. That does happen. However, it is not because of Ares. So that is... I want to give them a point on the movie, but because Ares doesn't play a part in it, there's no point. However, in the show, Ares is there, and Ares offers... or not offers a ride, but gives them a ride, gives them a way for them to go to the Lotus Hotel and Casino. How that scene plays out, and how the Lotus Hotel and Casino scene plays out in the show is different from how the book is, definitely, but that is all I'm going to say about that. Number 24, Procrustes, the waterbed scene in the books, or the book. The waterbed scene from the book does happen in the show, so the show gets a point on that. It is It's similar in a way. I mean, how it's led up to that, it doesn't happen the way it's supposed to lead up to it, but it still happens. It's a main thing that happens. Or sort of a minor main thing. However, in the movie, it does not happen, so the movie does not get a point on that. Number 25, Annabeth tricks the Hellhound in Hades. That does not happen in either the show or the movie. There are no Hellhounds in the show. So that does not happen in the show. The show does not get a point on that. However, the movie doesn't get a point either because the Hellhounds in the movie are sent back by Persephone, and that scene always kind of weirded me out because during the summertime, she's supposed to be up with Demeter, who is her mother, and for some reason in the summer she's with Hades. If she was there with Hades, it would have been winter, so that scene just weirded me out altogether in the movie. Number 26. Hades is missing his Helm of Darkness. In the show, he is missing his Helm of Darkness, and he tells Percy that he thinks that Percy stole the Helm of Darkness as well as the lightning bolt. Hades doesn't want the lightning bolt. That is an important thing. So, yes, there is the Helm of Darkness, and he is missing it. He wants it back. So he will not set Percy's mother free. However, in the movie, Hades sets Percy's mother free. However, there's no Helm of Darkness, so the movie does not get a point. Number 27, the fight with Ares. Yes, in the show, there's a fight with Ares, and I am so happy for that. A lot of the scenes that I loved in the show had to do with Ares. I don't like... In the books, I don't like Ares as much. And yeah, in the TV show, he gives off that same vibe of like, yeah, I don't like Ares. But he's portrayed well in the show, and I love the scenes with Ares. Even though I don't like Ares, God of War, and Greek mythology, I like how the character is portrayed in the show. It's really good. However, in the movie, there is no Ares, so movie doesn't get a point for that. In the book, the Helm of Darkness is returned to Hades. In the show, yes, it is. How it is returned in the show is different from how the books portray it, but it still does happen. It still does happen in the show, and I'm happy about that. However, in the movie, like I said, there is no Ares, so there's no fight, which also means Percy doesn't win a fight, which means Ares doesn't give him the Helm of Darkness. So, movie loses a lot of points, doesn't lose a lot of points, but doesn't get a lot of points because the Ares stuff is important. Number 29. Percy returns the bolt. Yes, both in the movie and in the show, Percy does return the bolt. And he is a little bit late on returning the bolt. However, he does return the bolt, and there is no war. However, I do like the scene from the show. I think I like the scene from the show more. The scene from the show is really it's funny because of how Walker Scobell portrays Percy and how sassy he is and how in character he is. Walker Scobell is a great Percy Jackson. Just gonna say that. He's a great Percy Jackson. He captures it well. So that scene always makes me smile when that happens. All right. And the last point. Luke attacks Percy back at the camp. In the movie, Luke attacks Percy before Percy can return the bolts to Zeus. And that scene I did not like at all. I do not like the movie. I do not like the movie. I might have liked the movie when I was a kid, but now, after reading the book more than just 2 times, because I read the book 2 times before I saw the movie, and I didn't really actually enjoy the. I enjoyed the movie back then, but I didn't really like it because it was inconsistent, highly inconsistent, and I didn't like how inconsistent it was. But that is one of the scenes that happens in the movie that I did not enjoy because it doesn't set up it doesn't really set up what happens next. It's sort of like, hey, we're kind of done. So, yeah. However, in the show will get a point because that does happen back at the camp. How it is portrayed in the show is different. Instead of Luke automatically trying to kill Percy, so then Luke can get started on the next part of his plan. He does it better. The show does a lot better in that scene because it's not. Luke doesn't try to automatically kill Percy. Instead, he's trying to recruit Percy. However, Percy refuses, and then they kind of fight, and it's actually more intense. And then Annabeth shows up, and it was weird when Annabeth showed up, in my opinion, but I actually enjoyed it more from the show side. And so yeah, I love the show. I love the show. I'm going to say this right now. I love the show. If you dislike the show, if you don't like it because it's not 100% to the book, well, that's on you. That's on you. The adaptation, I don't think the adaptation was ever going to be 100% with the book, with the events of the book. Yeah, the changes that were made are different, and some of them are big differences, some of them are small differences, but I simply enjoy it just because it is setting up a universe and is setting up a story really, really well. In my opinion, the show is doing great. The show is great in my opinion. And that's the point I'm trying to make with this video. I love the show. I will continue watching the show. If I dislike the show, of course, I'm not going to take to social media about not liking the show, and I'll just stop watching the show if it ever comes to that. But there needs to be more positive. I feel like there's a lot of negativity when it comes to the show. There's a lot of YouTubers that don't like the show because of certain inconsistencies with the book. But the show has more. The show is more consistent with the books than the movie is, and I'm trying to just prove that right now. Instead of people going, "Oh, I like the movie. It's much better than the book." I don't like the movie. I do not like the movie. I don't like the Sea of Monsters is the worst one. The Percy Jackson, the Sea of Monsters movie is the worst movie. And I will hopefully not make a video on that when season 2 comes out, because hopefully we can just get all past this and more people will start enjoying the show more and more, and stop crying about it. But I am here today just saying how much I appreciate the show, and I will continue to watch it until something doesn't feel right with me on it. But so yeah, you guys can do with that whatever you want. Don't start hating me because of that. It's just my opinion, and I'm allowed to have my own opinion. You guys are allowed to have your own opinion as well. I am just tired of seeing more negative responses to it than positive responses, and I wanted to give a positive response on it myself, so I did. And if you guys did enjoy this video, which I don't see why you would, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, because I want to do Assassin's Creed Odyssey for more Greek mythology stuff, because I'm a huge Greek mythology fan, and we'll do more. So I'll do more of that. I'll do that, and I'll do more of that later on. So hit the subscribe button if you want to see that. If you guys enjoyed, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, like I said, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Until next time, stay godly.